Hi, welcome to Flugatronic. Up now we're going to take a second look at the Anyma Phi hardware synth. Had a great idea from a listener to go over the front panel of the Anyma Phi and see what all the knobs do. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take one of the stock patches and twist all the knobs, see how we can mangle it up and get different sounds. So the front panel basically gives you a way to manipulate some of the most common sound parameters and synth parameters. If you want to really dive deep, there is a editor application for Windows and Mac, and you can load that up and dive into all the gory details if you're a sound designer. If you're going to do that, I highly recommend reading through the manual. A lot of good information in there, and you should do that anyway, at least the first few chapters, to kind of get an idea of the synth architecture and the signal flow and all that kind of thing. So the front panel is basically set up in order of signal flow. So the Phi is a physical modeling, at least the kind of a claim to fame, or the main point of the Phi is a physical modeling synth. So some of the names here are set up to reflect that. So first stage is excite. All right, so that's kind of, think of that as plucking a string or blowing a flute. Vibrate, so that's what material is the flute made of, or what is it, a nylon string or a steel string, that kind of thing. And then you got diffuse, so that's we'll take a look at that. And then global, so morphing and effects are in the global stage. And then the last one's called animate. We're not going to get into that one. That's really not related to synth parameters, but that's how you control different envelopes, LFOs, and keyboard mappings, that or MIDI mappings, that kind of thing. So I don't really get into that one, but the top 4 rows and then each of the knobs on the bottom we'll get into. A couple of notes about my setup here. I've got my iPhone recording the Anyma Phi itself. You probably can't read the display, but hopefully you'll at least be able to see knobs I'm twisting and some of the lights. For audio, I've got the left output going into an Apogee Jam interface going into the iPad. So I'm recording directly into the iPad. But what that means is you're getting a mono signal. So keep that in mind as you're listening. Still recommend headphones because you're going to get a much richer experience with headphones here. And I'm going to put mine on when we start playing so I can really hear what we're doing. But you are going to get a mono signal. So if you're recording in stereo or over headphones, you're going to get a richer listening experience. Also today I am going to be playing with the WARBL MIDI wind controller. I've got this set up in my Native American style fingering mode. And I have it configured kind of like an A flute and a mid A like this one. So that's all the setup. Okay, one other thing before we dive into it is that you are editing a given patch, so you want to make sure there's no autosaves. You want to make sure that you save your work as you go if you don't want to lose it. The other thing is that you are saving on top of whatever patch you are editing at the time. So if you don't want to lose one of the factory patches, what you'll want to do is copy that patch into an empty slot and then edit on the empty slot. And that's what I've done. You're supposed to be able to do that directly on the panel. I could not get that to work today for some reason. So I don't know if that's like an early alpha bug or just something I was doing wrong. But I was able to get it in the Windows editor. So what I've done is I've taken patch number 15, which was my favorite from the first video, and I've copied that down to patch 17. And you probably can't read it, but I've changed the name to JH, Jim Hanks at Reflute. So as we go here, we're going to be editing it's patch 17, and then we can go back and compare it to 15. All right, so here is the stock patch. All right, let's start with the Excite module and timbre. Okay, so you can see as I twist that, it's getting brighter and brighter. Let's dial it back a little bit. Maybe a little more. All right, color. Seems to be adding a some overtones. Which sound a little bit out of tune with the main tone. All right, chaos. Doesn't seem to do a whole lot. All right, position. Position is at about 80% stock. Can't tell if that's doing much for this patch. So that's another thing to recognize is that the knobs are going to do something different depending on what patch you're editing. So never know quite what you're going to get. All right, let's move on to vibrate. Geometry. I'm not sure what that's doing, but it seems to have almost a volume effect. If you go all the way down, not really getting anything other than wind noise. Let's crank that back up. Okay, material. Definitely upping the wind noise as you crank that knob. We'll leave some in just for grins. Okay, decay. Maybe a little bit, but I think there's also some reverb going on, so it's hard to tell. Okay, tuning. This is basically, at least for this patch, this is just a transpose setting. So you can see as I twist this, the pitch is going to go down even though I'm not changing the fingering. You can go plus or minus 64, so that's a lot more notes than you have on a piano. And this particular patch has a restricted range. So the original name was 3 octaves. So if you go too high or low, you just get beyond the range of that instrument. Put it back to 12. Okay, let's move on to diffuse, resonate. Drive. So it's definitely like an amplifier gain kind of setting. In fact, you can hear that really amplifying the hiss we were kind of getting from material. Let's go turn that back down. Still getting the drive, but without all the hiss. Body. This body is all the way up pretty much. So it kind of accentuates the drive. And space. Okay, that's definitely your reverb control there. So let's make it a little bit drier just for fun. It's kind of interesting. You can playing around with the breath control. You can really see how sensitive the synth is. Right. Moving on to global. Now the first two, morph. Maybe we'll come back to on a different video. What you've got is you've actually got two different setups for each patch, and you can morph between the two. So right now we're at morph 0. And that's what we've been editing so far. If I crank this over to morph 100, that's a different configuration, and I'm not sure if that's the stock patch where we started. That would be fun if you had another controller, like a maybe a portamento control or a mod wheel or something, morph between different sounds. Sure, that can get quite chaotic. Okay, second one says source 2. I think doesn't really apply to this patch. It's probably like an input source, input audio or something. Effects 1. I think that's an EQ or some kind of filter effect. Second one. Definitely a chorus. Let's leave that kind of high. Okay, so now let's save that patch. Saving patch. Now we'll go back to stock 15 and let's see what we did. All right, so this is back stock 15. And here's what we edited. All right. Okay, there you go. Quick run through the front panel, and I hope that was useful and instructive. If you have other ideas on what you'd like me to dive into with the Anyma Phi, let me know, and we'll try and dive into that for you. And so far, I'm just kind of exploring around, not really looking to use this for a project quite yet, but sure as we go, we'll find uses for it. So thanks for watching.